know your past is broken. You can move on, it's over now. Here in the presence of the Lord. I know your past is broken. You can move on, it's over now. Here in the presence of the Lord. Tired of running. He's still in the He's in control. Here in the presence of the Lord. Tired of running. He's still in the He's in control. Here in the presence of the Lord. Pour out your heart before Him. Oh, you now. Here in the presence of the Lord. Pour out your heart before Him. Lift up your hands, hold you now. Here in the presence of the Lord. Mercy is falling, falling. Lift up your hands and receive it now. Here in the presence of the mercy is falling, mercy is falling, falling. Come on, yes. Lift up your hands, receive it now. Here in the presence of the Lord. Your praise is yours. You're the one we bow before. Yeah. Reign over us as we lift you up. You will reign forevermore. And the praise is yours. And the praise is yours. You're the one we bow before. Reign over us as we lift you up. You will reign forevermore. Glory and praise, power and strength. Worthy is the Lamb of God. Hallelujah. Glory and praise, one we bow before. Reigning over us as we lift you up. You will reign forevermore. Glory and praise, power and strength. Worthy is the Lamb of God. Hallelujah. Glory and praise, power and strength. Worthy is the Lamb of God. Hallelujah.
So, in Numbers chapter 21, you guys grab a seat for a second. Numbers chapter 21, verse 9. Reading this morning, in verse 9 it says, "So Moses made a bronze snake and put it up on a pole. Then when anyone was bitten by a snake and looked at the bronze snake, they lived." Anybody remember that? It's a very strange little passage. The Israelites are still wandering in the desert, and God gets mad at them for their grumbling, and so he sends venomous snakes into the community, the way that the Bible describes it, which is rife with all sorts of issues right there. That just messes with your theology. Wait, God sent the snakes? I don't understand that. Maybe Moses is just using hyperbole, or maybe not. Maybe God is so jealous of our devotion and honor of him that he will stop at nothing to ensure that our attention is focused on him. And maybe that's it. But it said people were dying. It was terrible. So Moses goes to the tent of meeting with Aaron, and he calls out to God on our behalf, on the nation of Israel's behalf, and says, Lord, take the snakes away. And we get to Numbers chapter 21, verse 9, and it says, "So Moses made a bronze snake." He made a bronze snake and put it up on a pole. There it is. Then when anyone was bitten by a snake and looked at the bronze snake, they lived. You know, in a way, this image is as weird and perverted as it may sound. Like, why in the world would a bronze snake produce healing? I thought the snake was the devil. I thought there was enmity between the serpent and mankind. I thought the snake was always a bad thing, an image of the brokenness and evil and sin in the world. Why is Moses is putting a bronze snake on a pole now all of a sudden a source of healing? Right? Or two things. Number one, to look at the snake, you had to look up, which means you were no longer focusing on your pain and no longer focusing on the suffering that you were enduring down here, but your eyes were forced to look up. That requires humility, because now you recognize that if I don't look up, right, if I don't turn my attention away from myself and away from my circumstances and look up, I'm going to die. But if I follow the instructions that God gave me, no matter how strange they seem, and lift my eyes to something above me, then maybe there's hope. And that humility is part of what I think Moses was able to help the Israelites achieve through the simple act of putting this little bronze snake on a pole. The other thing is, snakes are evil in the scripture, and it's not a positive thing. And there's another situation where something that was lifted on a pole, put up on a tree, required our attention, right? And in the New Testament, when we see Christ, you can't just see Jesus hanging on the cross as the Son of Man, redeeming us of our filthiness and sin. You also have to recognize that in that moment, he took upon us the evil and the sin and the brokenness. And while he was up on that tree, he was representative not just of God himself, but of everything that is evil and dirty and sinful and broken.
Yeah, come on,
because we put on him everything that we deserve to carry on our own.
Right.
And he became for us, in a sense, our own sin, lifted high and exalted above, so that we would have to accept him for who he really is.
Right.
There's complete and total salvation. Now, that's the way that you would preach this if you're trying to get to the gospel. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get into the leadership principle. The leadership principle here is, go back to verse 9. You missed it, because so did I until this morning. I've been reading the Bible 19 years, and I was reading this morning about this stupid bronze snake that can uses me every time. And I was like, why snake? Why a snake? And it takes a while. I was talking to my uncle, who's an artist, yesterday, and I said, you've done bronze work before. And he said, yeah, I did. And then he described the process of creating a plaster cast and pouring the molten bronze into the cast. And then the way that you get it out, you have to chip away at the plaster, and a piece falls off, and you kind of see the bronze coming, chip more off, and the bronze coming. And over the course of time, it takes time to melt the metal, to make the form, to pour the bronze into the form, to break the plaster off. And then he said, then you have to sand the rough edges off, because there are seams where the plaster came together. Then you have to get all the residual plaster off, and you have to polish it, and it doesn't look good until you've done all this work. Again, always wanting to bring it back to the point that there's a process. So it's not like Moses said, put a bronze snake on a pole. Somebody had to go make it. They had to design it. They had to polish it. They had to create the pole. They had to find the place. And there was a group of people like you and I running logistics behind the scenes, managing the production of it, managing the ministry of it, picking the location of it, and dealing with all the logistics of it to get that freaking snake up on the pole. And what you missed, here's what you missed. Verse 9, so Moses made a bronze snake. He didn't touch the bronze snake, by the way. Leadership, you take ownership even if you're not the one executing the tasks. So whose snake was it? Moses's. Did Moses ever touch the snake? No. But there you go. Moses made a bronze snake and put it up on a pole. Then when anyone was bitten, wait a minute. So all while we're making the snake, all while we're praying for the healing, all while we're watching our friends and family members die from the venom, the snakes are still here. Even after the solution has been created and stuck up on this pole, I still got to live with the snakes. God, I pray for you to heal Israel and to rid us of this plague of venomous snakes. But even after we've done everything that you've asked us to do and gone through the entire process and done everything that we felt like we were supposed to do in obedience, there are still snakes. You know? What the hell, God? And I mean hell as far as evil. Like, are you telling me that I can do everything right and follow your instructions and I still got to deal with the plague in my life? Wow. And it encouraged me this morning to realize that my prayers aren't focused on ridding my life of the snakes, but on creating a place to look when the snakes are still present. That's good. That's really good. So what are you turning to, those of you who still have some snakes in your life? Wow. What are you turning to? Are you looking around wishing that God would put up a barrier fence around your little area to keep the snakes out? Is that what you're hoping? Come on, John. Sometimes he doesn't do that. Sometimes after you've done everything right, you're still going to get bitten. And the only solution is not to not be bitten and to get rid of the snakes, but to make sure that you look to the right place. So lift your eyes and look to the right place. And I know you because I talked with you, and I know some of you got some crap behind the scenes. And I think if I can make another plea for authenticity, I think what you're trying to do is get rid of the nonsense and to rid your life of all the brokenness and to get rid of all that stuff that you can somehow appear perfect. You don't want to be a snake on a pole. Instead, you want to be, the Son of God on a pole, a reflection of the right image. Well, it's not a bad pursuit, but the reality is, from the way that I read this passage of Scripture, sometimes the snakes never leave. Sometimes you got to deal with it in your flesh.
That's good. That's right.
Like 3 different times. It's not going to go away.
Come on.
So your ability to accept the reality of your circumstances and understand that some of it's not ever going to be right, but you can still have a place to focus, and you can still see hope and encouragement if you just look up, is the battle of your season.
Jeez, that's good. Yes, it is. The way to go. Yes.
So, I told them that as long as I come in here and open up and worship, I'll keep giving them a fresh word until I don't have it.
As long as you have a minstrel, you're good.
Give me a harpist. My own snakes. Couple quick things before I have my own snakes, and sometimes I am one. That's what I meant to say there. A couple quick things, then LB is going to come up, and I'm going to be excited for the work that God's going to do in your life this morning. Because this particular teaching from LB, every teaching from LB is powerful. This particular one is not just powerful, it's absolutely important and significant. You can take some good notes and apply those notes to your life in the coming days and weeks. So it's going to be great. I'll let him do all of that. A couple quick things. You have an assignment coming for boundaries. And as with all the assignments that I give you, I try not to waste your time. And I know you don't really have the time to spend, so it's hard to dictate an assignment for the book boundaries when you're driving back and forth from Winston-Salem, for example. You know, you've got to figure out a way to make it work. And I understand that all of you have circumstances. It's not necessarily an easy season for many of you, and you're kind of like, oh gosh, one more thing to do. So you can look at it that way, or instead you can see it as the work that God intends to do in your life. Because I think this book, Boundaries, is probably greater than any other shift that I've ever had in my leadership in the past 11 years of being a part of Elevation Church, comes from understanding concepts that are eloquently laid out for you brilliantly in the pages of Boundaries. And I would love to invite you to have that same kind of transformation, but you're not going to if you don't put the time and effort into it. So I'd encourage you to do that. When you submit those, I'm going to use what you write for that assignment to teach you writing when I do a writing teaching in a couple weeks. Does that make sense? So you need to put time and effort into it, because if you don't, I will use your paper as a source of humiliation. The rest of the room will grow as a result of your failure to put the right time and attention into this particular assignment. Fair enough? So you were forewarned. Other thing that I want you to know is we are in eval season, so your mentors and anybody who's interacting with you at the campus are in the process of filling out evals. I like to just keep you informed. This is not something we're trying to do in secret. We're trying to steward the opportunity that we have to invest in you and build our staff wisely. And so we've got a pretty significant system that we built out to make sure that we're regularly evaluating your progress. And you ought to feel that at a certain level. You ought to feel like your supervisor is asking you hard questions. You ought to feel like you're having the right meetings or maybe being confronted about certain things. And if that's happening for you, that's good. If it's not, then it's on you to seek that out. Don't just wait for the right development to come through. But seek that out and make sure that you're not just connecting with your supervisor, but connecting with other people that would be significant or strategic connections for you. That's why we do the network lunches. That's why we do that. So that's happening right now. They were supposed to have been submitted at the end of the day yesterday, I think, and that we have busy schedules, a lot going on, so that doesn't always happen, but I'm hoping to have those done. Just for clarity, you will not necessarily see your evals, and that's an intentional thing, because if I had everyone fill them out so that you could see them, then they're going to fill them out in a certain way. Instead, I decided to build them in such a way that I get honest feedback and unfiltered feedback, because that's safe. So if LB is going to sit down and fill out an eval, I don't want him to have to process out his words in such a way that it could be publicly consumed. I want him to tell me raw and quickly to save his time and honor what he's doing. He's got a lot of other important things to worry about. I want to be able to just put it out there so we can get that information together. That's all. Ready for this? Matriculated. And then what we have is everybody's opinions kind of centrally located. And if there's a theme across 5, 6, 7 different people's opinions about how you're doing, that's good or bad, or mediocre or whatever, then that should become the theme of your development over the coming weeks. That if it's all working right, that's the goal. Is that we would get all the feedback, we would now have a theme to work on, and you should start feeling that coming back to you in the next couple of weeks. But you won't necessarily have somebody sit down and be like, okay, so here's what John said about you on this eval. If that happens, it could be awkward, and let me know. So we'll work through those things as they come. Is that fair?
Yeah.
I just want you to always feel like you know everything that I know with regard to the process and what's happening. So that's it. Any questions? Thoughts? Was that not the most amazing experience ever? Pinch your neighbor. It is real. You are here. Israel, they come and sing to you. Tuesday morning, just because he loves you. And it was a special blessing. Pastor said that really well. I'm sure we appreciate it. And one other thing you get to appreciate is that Larry Bry is here.
You have anybody yet this morning?
Yes.
Did you have a bunch of people? Okay, 7 mile miracle, 7 hugs.
Oh, love you.
So on the side of every gas station in the city says pop your eyes. So, once you go fishing. We're gonna talk about honor, but what else are we talking about? Anything else I can do? We might as well start in a place of like, I'd rather answer questions they ask me. What can I talk about? What questions might you have for me? I always wanted to start with that.
What kind of ministry momentum have you seen?
I'm ministering of this, look at this room. Oh my gosh, look at the evidence of God's faithfulness. How many miles are collectively represented in the distance people move their lives to?
Wow, that's good.
Cumulative number of miles? I mean, about 3 airline tickets right there. I mean, literally, like, conglomeration, yeah. That's pretty impressive there. Yeah, this is all around.
Good.
What else?
So I love this morning. I missed that pre-worship, like not scheduled worship where it's like verse, chorus, verse, which I understand it on Sunday. So I just wonder, do they do it more often? Do we do it more often, where there's just like pre-worship, any song?
It is a little bit of a different format.
Yeah.
And there's a couple different schools of thought, and then there's somewhere in between. The two extremes would be I don't even want to call it extremes. The two kind of bookends of it would be extremely programmed, and then it's just no agenda at all. And elevation obviously tends more towards this side over here. And there would, the person sitting on this side, let me start on this side. The person sitting on this side would be like, well, spontaneous, we believe that God can plan more of our spontaneity. Why can't we get with God to see where we want to take us before we get together? So it's a little bit of like that. The other side would be like, well, you're really not allowing room for the Spirit to flow. Other side would be, well, why can't the Spirit on Tuesday tell us where we would want to go on the weekend? And so we have more on this side. Logistically, it creates because of the way we've chosen to do church. If Gaston campus just decides to have free worship, and they're just going to go with it for 28 minutes, and now the sermon started 22 minutes ago. So it's more of like that. There's a very practical part of it too. And for us, it's a little more like we want to make sure we have good order in that.
Well, I mean, I understand like on a worship experience, but what about just like this, like today? Does it happen more like often?
How many you've been here? How many weeks now? Is it 4 or 5? 6 weeks. I mean, are there moments like that? Yeah. And they're probably having more at the campus level and it's what level than most of them.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yep. And we want those, like when you have campus meetings and stuff like that, those are great moments of great space. I love those moments like that. And then also we have it with Pastor Steve when we get to that worship moment where all the campuses are synced up. If he wants to go to the old rugged cross or wherever he wants to go, that's a good facility. And then it's more than
Oh yeah.
I was going to ask what kind of preparation as a staff and as a campus did y'all take for that?
It's not loud. And so, It's a little more preparation that we set the atmosphere for the campus. Otherwise, it's, oh, we got to get ready for Camp Pastor Stephen to go. Maybe, but it's more of like, what's the atmosphere we want to create so that the people can encounter God. And so if it's a little bit of, if it's only seen from the place of like, we got to do a good job for Pastor. Our job isn't to impress Pastor. Right. Our job is to create a place that people worship God.
Right.
But we're going to take care of our pastor.
Yeah.
That's right.
And so we put a ton of work into it because Pastor at Holly's word for the year is appreciation. And so when he gets a chance to come to a campus, it's an opportunity for that campus to really appreciate Pastor. And it's not necessarily buying like big expensive gifts because I mean, what am I going to buy him? It's going to be like, hey, I mean, here's a Maserati. I can't do that. But it's meaningful. So one thing you don't know about Pastor Stephen is each week he gets a list of people in the church that are going through challenges and struggles from all the different campuses. And so what he'll do Saturday, Sunday, sometimes during the week, it all depends on the flow, but he'll call, he'll send an email or a note to those people and pray with them. And it's how you make big church feel small in Sunday English. And so what we're going to do is we'll have a moment with a volunteer rally that'll have 3 people that he's called in the last 5 years that are still a part of the church just to say, Pastor, when you called me, here's what you said and here's what it meant to me. And so I think that level is creating a space that it was important for us to celebrate Pastor. It's important for us to celebrate the volunteers. So that's why we're doing a volunteer rally and they all get reserved seats. And it's just for them. And so I think anytime you're planning an event like that, how do you honor and celebrate people? And it's more of a kind of a philosophical mindset. And like sometimes the value, sometimes if not, it's just, hey, we just open the doors and have church. But sometimes when you see that, like that event, that big thing, it really should challenge the way you do everything. Because we should have that same approach every single weekend.
Yeah.
Great question. Yeah, sure.
ALB.
Go ahead. How you doing?
No, very good.
Pretty happy.
LB, I don't know if you know, we have a reputation now. Good one. Very good one. But UC has just like when interacting with your staff, maybe TKTs that are on your campus, they say that we work hard, and I can tell by the fruit of that. That you guys work hard and you do things well. So if the people who work for you, right, you wanted them to understand one thing. As a, what is that one thing that you have? Whether it be a skill, principle.
Is it it's such a broad.
I understand that.
Like,
so,
is it related to like life, like marriage, or
I mean, like their or their development, or I guess for that the person to go to like run with you, what do you think is the strongest skill and principle idea?
Okay.
Very cool.
There's a woman, her name is Helen Maroulis. She won Olympic gold medal this last year for TUSA. And big fan of Elevation Church. She considers Elevation Church her home, and she considers Pastor Stephen her pastor. And while she was in Rio preparing for the games, I got a chance going into the games to really become like a spiritual coach to her. And while she was in Rio, we talked just about every day on the phone. And it's pretty amazing. This is a woman that on Thursday, she won a gold medal. The week before, would have been 8 days before, she's just in tears on the phone going, I don't belong here. And so 8 days prior, she's in tears. I think I don't belong here. I can't do this. In that moment, did she have the talent to win the gold? My job is to help people push past that moment so that they can get the gold.
That's great.
Because she had all the talent, she just didn't have the perspective. And anybody who is world class, so I was a wrestler, that's why me is vicariously living through Helen. It's the closest I'll ever get. It's the closest I'll ever get to Olympic gold. Vicariously. She came and visited during Cody's revival. My wife and I, we hosted her at her house. We had breakfast with her, and she loves the little kids, and she's part of our family. And so it's pretty cool for me, because I grew up wrestling. Actually, I wrestled in college. That's what ended my college career. This is I've got a lot of scars. I've broken 16 bones. Had 9 surgeries. A little bit of trachea. I had cornea transplant on both of my eyes. On both eyes, I got donor tissue. So she did donor. And so my one of my heroes growing up as a kid. If anybody could text Bernie to get him a cold, that would be helpful. That would be great. Bernie. But I grew up, one of my heroes was a guy named Dan Gable. Dan Gable is a legendary college wrestling coach from the University of Iowa. Dan Gable in high school was a 4-time high school state champion from Iowa. And so he went through, and he never lost a match in all of his high school career. So he was undefeated in high school. He gets into college, and he is his freshman, his sophomore, junior years, he won NCAA titles and didn't lose a match. He goes into a senior year, he's undefeated going into the very last match of the year. He's wrestling a guy named Larry Owens from Portland State in the NCAA championship. He has never lost a match in high school or in college. And that day, he's a 3-time NCAA champion, never lost before in his life, and he loses that match. He loses it 7-4. He woke up puking that morning, just horribly sick. And he lost that match. And he said it's one of the best things that ever happened to him. Because Dan Gable, and he's this legendary coach, and I had a chance to interview him, about a 45-minute interview a couple years ago. Pastor Stephen said, reach out to great leaders in the world and do an interview with him about leadership. So I'm like, I'm going to call Dan Gable. I didn't think I'd ever get him, but I was persistent. And some of you give up with.
Wow.
Well, I called and they said I couldn't talk to him. Well, you don't want that enough. Try to hire with you. I mean, persistent. Some of you are giving up way too easy. You think it's talent, it's just persistent. I'm really not that talented. I'm not. I'm just that persistent. And so I talked to Dan Gable and asked him on the phone, because he left after he won. After college, he now goes on to the international scene, and he's become an international wrestler. And he goes on to win every single match, and he goes to the Olympic Games. And his goal, Dan Gable was talking, he said, my goal was never to be a good wrestler. It was to be the best wrestler ever. Like of all time, in the history of the sport, he wanted to be the best. And he had this drive in him that made him be the best. So that loss in college inspired him to say, I'm never going to lose again. He goes on to win in the Munich, Germany Olympic Games. And his goal wasn't to win the gold, it was to not surrender a point.
Wow.
He said, I just didn't want to win, I wanted to dominate. He said, I wanted to leave no doubt that I was the best. Wow. What if you had that attitude about you? I'll leave no doubt. And so he walked through the tournament, didn't surrender a point, won 5 matches that day, and wins the gold medal, stands on the platform, gets the gold, and didn't surrender a point. Off the platform, everybody goes back to the Olympic Village, all of his buddies, and I read this story, and then I asked about it, that all of his buddies are all going out to the bar scene to get hammered and celebrate the Olympics. They see Dan Gable coming out of his apartment at the Olympic Village, and he's got his sweatsuit on. And they said, where are you going, Gable? He goes, I got to get a workout in. You just won the gold medal, and you're going for a workout? Why? Because his goal wasn't to win the gold. It was to be the best ever.
Yeah.
And he said, the best ever would go and train right now.
Wow.
When I asked him, I said, Coach Gable, did that really happen? He goes, yeah, I was pretty obnoxious back then. But he said I would have done it all over again. But he went on from after winning the Olympic gold to now becoming a coach at the University of Iowa. Iowa didn't, prior to him taking over, they were a mediocre wrestling team. college wrestling. College wrestling is made up of 10 different weight classes, from 119 pounds all the way up through 275 pounds. So there's 10 weight classes. And so it's 2 people on the mat, wrestling equal weight class, and you have 10 people on your team, 10 weight classes. And so when he became the head wrestling coach, they weren't very good. And he said, I am going to create the best collegiate wrestling team ever. So there's about 320 college wrestling teams in Division I wrestling. And Coach Gables was to be the best program ever. And so what he set out to do in the 17 years he was coaching there, they won 10 NCAA titles. And he set a new standard for collegiate coaching. He is the gold standard of coaching in wrestling. But he said, I was never successful. He said, I was never successful. I said, Coach Gable, doesn't make any sense. You won 10 NCAA titles. He goes, but I said, my goal was to be the best ever. And to me, the best ever meant that every one of those 10 guys was going to win the NCAA championship. So his best year was 1991. They had 5 champions. Now 320 wrestlers. He had the best in 5 of those weight classes. 2 of them were runner-ups, took 2nd place. 2 of them took 3rd, and then everybody placed in the top 5. 5 champions. And he still didn't consider himself successful. Because he didn't get to the point where he inspired his guys and coached the level where everyone was the best. I don't get that. We'd all be high-fiving ourselves like, we won the title. And he's like, but I didn't get them to be the best. And you talk to his wife, and I had the privilege of talking to her, she's like, he was hard to live with. Because there was no balance in our life. Wrestling was our life. There's no way he could have been the best in the world and we tried to have balance. So when he's wrestling, guess what the family did? That was our life. And if you want to become the best ever, that's how you have to line up your life. You'll never become the best ever at trying to achieve it through a balance. And again, I think, what does it mean for you to be the best you? You don't need to be the best LB, you don't need to be the best of us, but there's a whole method for you. What's that persistence to get there? When I was talking with Coach Gable, I said, Coach Gable, you are by far the best evaluator of talent and recruiting. Because he would get the best wrestlers and then bring them to Iowa and make them even better. I said, why didn't some guys make it? Because there are guys that are 4 or 5 time state champions that are coming to your program and they don't make it. Why don't they make it? He goes, LB, I wish I would have known that. He called me later. He didn't know me. He said, I wish I would have known this answer 17 years ago when I started coaching. But looking back, he said, here's what I saw. You have guys that are I started wrestling in 2nd grade. And so 45-pound weight class. Yeah. I did 2nd grade. And so what basketball would be in North Carolina, that's what wrestling was in Minnesota. Everybody wrestled. Nobody either played wrestling. You either wrestled or you played hockey. That's what we had in Minnesota. And so starting in 2nd grade, when you start in 2nd grade, all you need to really know is one move. And you'll win. So you practice one move. But once you get to middle school, you've got to know a couple moves. And so some kids from elementary school to middle school cannot be successful because they can't get past one move. Wow. Then going from middle school to high school, now it's not about just a couple moves. Now it's about perspective and mentality and effort. And some guys can't make the jump to get there. But he said going from high school to college and then college to international and then international to coaching, he thought the pinnacle was coaching. Because it wasn't about him winning. It was about him inspiring 10 other people to win. But he said what happens when guys came to college is now to be a national champion at a collegiate level, your lifestyle has to be all about wrestling. And guys come in committed to the idea of winning, but they're not committed to the effort it takes to win. And he said, guys walk in, and their level of effort that made them successful at a high school level will not make them be successful at the collegiate level. And he said they didn't make it. It was completely an effort thing. And they were unwilling to put the effort in to be successful at that level.
That's good.
That just blessed me. So, John, when you asked the question, well, what would be one thing I would teach them? I think it's that. It's that perspective. And I don't know if there's a word that encapsulates it because it's so much broader than that, but it's that idea of saying you'll forfeit the gold way before someone can steal it. And but the challenge is though, when you get to this level, you start doubting whether or not you can do it.
Yeah.
That's where Helen was. Helen, when she's sitting there 9 days before the tournament, she's sitting here in tears, like, I don't belong here. And here's what was really messing her up. It was funny. It was really funny when we boiled it down, because I just coached her. Walk me through, where are these feelings coming from? What's causing it? What's making you see this? When you think back, where did it start? So what she did need here was, I'm so sorry. I did say, I'm sorry you're feeling that way. That's not the way God wants you to feel. Now, do you want to continue feeling that way? Because if you say yes, cool, I know where the conversation is going to go. If you say no, I don't want to feel this way, do you want me to help you? Do you want me to help you? Cool. All right, let's go there. And so we kind of proceeded to break it down. She's in the wrestling room with Team USA, and there's a couple other teams that are in the wrestling room. And so it's the best in the world. And so she's got her coaches, and they're going over and saying, Jordan, man, you're looking great. You're ready to go. You're ready to go. You're ready. But none of the coaches were coming and telling her that. And she internalized their lack of encouragement as an indictment of her readiness.
Yep.
And so now she gets it in her head that the lack of encouragement I hear is really an indication that I'm not doing well. Because if I was doing well, they'd tell me.
Wow.
And they're not telling me that. Maybe I'm not ready. Maybe I'm not good enough. I don't belong. And she got it into her head to the point that she was ready to walk away. Gold medal talent, but a non-qualifier mind.
Wow.
And that was where the battle was taking place. So we just broke down the battle, and here's what I was able to say to her. Pastor Stephen said this to our staff. He said, your excellence is my expectation. Okay. So the analogy is Pastor Stephen, the first sermon he preaches at Elevation. Everybody's like, oh, Pastor Stephen, that's amazing. Okay, you did good. Everybody's like, you're amazing. I love it. So the campus pastor, the first time they preach on the stage, he was like, oh, that is so good. Look at my boy. All kind of props go up. We're like, yeah, because everybody's telling you all that. Pastor's been doing it for 11 years. And every week he gets up and pours his guts into it. And we expect him. Your excellence is my expectation.
Yeah.
We expect excellence.
That's true.
But after seeing it for 11 years in a row, what happens to my encouragement? It goes down.
Yeah.
Your excellence keeps going up, and my encouragement level keeps going down because I expect it. And so now you're left with this gap, the encouragement gap. And what do I put in place in the encouragement gap? Something's going to fill that space. Every void will be filled. Now, what you choose to fill it with really determines the direction. So the void. So put it in this way, like, what's wrong with them today? What goes in that gap? You see somebody acting out of character in this room, and you got the gap, the void. What do you fill it with? Judgment. You don't be like, oh, I bet they're having a hard day. You know, what's wrong with them? Right?
Yeah.
Right.
But what do we want everybody to fill the gap with when we're acting that way? You should know better. You should know me.
Right.
We always want them to assume the best, but we'll always assume the worst.
Yeah.
That's true. True.
It's that gap, but what do we fill it in with ourselves? So what Helen filled it with is like, I don't belong. But I said, maybe, just maybe, they're playing you a compliment.
That's great.
Maybe their silence is actually a compliment. Have you ever thought about that, Helen? Maybe they know what you're capable of, and that's their expectation. They expect you to win the gold.
Yeah.
And they don't need to hype you up.
Yep.
But there's other people, they kind of might have to hype them up. Could it be they're giving you, and it flipped? She's like, never thought of it that way. And what I'm saying is, I pretty much helped her win the No, it was all about readjusting yourself. And gold medal talent, but she was talking herself out of it because of gap. Huh. So what do you put in the gap? What do we all put in the gap? So really the battle for your life is it's the battle for that gap. It's that unconquered territory. It's the void that's always created, the absence of something, what gets inserted into. How can you get to the point where you just start inserting in, well, my supervisor didn't tell me if I did good or bad. Isn't it funny? I had one staff member a couple weeks ago, like, oh yeah, I thought you fired me. It's like, why would you think that? Well, I showed up and my fob wasn't working at the door. I'm like, true story. And it's made me laugh. But think about you in that moment where you're like, so what was going on? Got in a fight with her husband, facing all kinds of insecurities on multiple levels, already feeling defeated. And now, isn't that amazing? And so the battle, Joyce Meyer wrote a great book, The Battleground in the Mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's maybe more than you wanted, John, but that's what I was.
That was great. Keep going.
Because the reality is I'm not that talented. Our staff is not that talented. Now, and if we want to get into the comparison game, we always could, but if you find somebody that you think you're doing it better than, there's 20 people doing it better.
Yeah.
So it's just, you can't live in that place. It's not about talent. Talent's not the differentiator between great organizations. It's about persistence. It's about unity. It's about these other intangibles. And so that's where you win. But how do I learn how to win? Everybody wants the gold, but people give up on the grind. Is that helpful?
Yeah.
What did you take from that? What practically? What encouraged you with that?
I would say when you talked about she internalized the lack of encouragement as a reflection of her talent and ability to exceed, and that's something I've been dealing with like all week this past week.
Tell me what? Tell me, give me real specific.
So we had the baptism Saturday night of Valentine, and I was running around trying to get stuff set up, and I'm like, okay, I got to get this right, and got everything done. We were a little delayed just because we had so many people that stayed around, and afterwards it was just kind of like oh crap, they didn't say anything. And then, they were kind of like, we had a staff meeting and it was just kind of like, well, this could have been a little better. This could have been a little better. For them, it was just an overview of what can we improve. They were pushing. And for me, I internalized it as crap, I didn't do a good enough job. And so it was just kind of like, and it was bumming me out, but then I had to sit down and pray about it, think about it, and be like, is this a frustration or a favor? And because in this season, I'm supposed to fail. If I need to look at it as that, because this is a safe place for me to learn and for me to get better at what I'm doing. So I just need to keep pushing in that mindset. But that was a big one.
It's one thing of Helen where I've never wrestled before, to be in the wrestling room. Then if people are talking to her like, oh crap, she's screwed. She doesn't even belong. That's not the case. If you were to try to put me into an atmosphere of like a singing competition, and I'm waiting to walk out and do my deal, I don't belong there. Because and so you drop me on an NBA court. You got me on a middle school court. But had you been in that environment before?
I have.
Had you been successful before?
Yes.
Very good. You belong there.
That's good.
Had Helen wrestled in tournaments before? Absolutely. Had she won tournaments before? Absolutely. Had she lost tournaments before? Absolutely. She belonged there. And so it was recognizing you belong there. Not it was easy. It was funny. Last time I preached at Valentine, I guess it was October. I preached Remember when I preached?
Wow.
Was that preview weekend?
Preview weekend, yeah.
Preview
That's
weekend.
my wife. And so it's funny, because whenever I get done preaching, it's hard not to look at your phone and wait for text messages. There's really only one text message I want to see. Siri. But he didn't text me. Oh crap, what's that mean? But I'm learning. I'm not saying I'm good at it, I'm learning that if I put in the preparation, I need to settle into I gave my best effort.
That's right. That's
Yes.
so good.
And so the devotional yesterday, the 7 at 7, no one's gonna know this, but I worked on that about 6 hours. 6 hours for 7 minutes. Would have been really easy for me to just, I got enough reps and enough stuff that I could just get up and make something up for 7 minutes.
Yeah,
But that mattered to me.
Come on.
So I'm gonna prepare for it. And as long as my failure is not from a lack of preparation, I'm okay.
Right. Come on. That's good.
If you failed in the baptism at production because you didn't have your crop prepared, that's different. Then, I did everything I could, and I was there early, and I asked everybody, and I talked to everybody, and we practiced it, and we nailed it, and went to pool. Stuff happens. I mean, look at the Oscars. And so, that's why I got to, Pastor Trust, I got to analyze it. It's like, I got to break it down. Cool. But what happens, though, they didn't tell me whether or not I did good. I don't learn the value of self-analysis. And so where you become good at preparation is, I know what I want to accomplish to be successful. When I did I execute the way I wanted? As I executed, didn't I come across the way I wanted? Now I'm measuring whether or not I'm successful based upon that. Not like, did someone like it? Did someone not like it? But where the preparation becomes really helpful is if I know I'm going to do something for you, I'm going to ask you way before I do it. What would make you happy? What would you want to see? Now I talk about how do you do it? How do you do it? Practice it. All my preparation, and then I deliver.
Great. Thank you.
It's not always easy, but that last time I preached, it was funny because Pastor never texted. It usually texts something. Never texted, and so again, my brain could go like, "Oh snap!" It was funny. It was a week later. He texted me, "Great job with that sermon. It was awesome. I thought you killed it." It was funny because the reality is, he didn't even watch it when I preached it live. And he said, LB, that's the first weekend I've ever had off where I didn't feel like even if I wasn't preaching, that I could actually step away from the stage and trust that it's going to be
Wow.
In 10 years of ministry, I've never been able to step away from the stage like that. So the greatest compliment he gave me was by not watching it.
That is so good.
So maybe someone's silence is actually, I expect you to do that. Because I expect your excellence.
Oh boy, that's good.
Yeah. That's good.
So do you want to be excellent?
Yes.
Do you really want to be excellent?
Yes.
You know you're getting there when you don't have to rely upon my encouragement.
Come on.
Wow.
Yes.
That's what I said.
Just waiting for someone to approve.
But it's not that. I realized that your approval feels like an addiction. Hey, I can keep going, I can keep going, I can keep going. And my supervisor said, we feel you're looking for those grades, man. We ain't got time for that. We got work. And so I was like, oh, okay. And then weeks go by, man, it's encouraging. So I got to keep this going eternally. If I'm going on with waiting on the word for someone to say good job, then my heart's not in for what I need, where it needs to be.
Yeah.
So if I can not even speak of like encouragement, maybe do it myself. Bounce back yourself, do this better, and just looking at myself. That's been one of my biggest liberations of the whole process.
Yeah.
That's
That's
awesome.
also, we also don't want to swing the pendulum so far like God's job to encourage you, not mine. Like, no, you're a butthole. Shut up. You're just a jerk to be around.
Yeah.
And you notice, so I'm not a big fan of just shallow compliments. I am an encourager by nature. I will But encouragement isn't like, oh, we're doing it. It's like, hey, awesome. I see what you're capable of, and I see you working towards it, but here's how you can be better. When I see someone do something really well, I'm like, that was great. That was awesome. But if I do that with everybody, there's no weight in it.
Yeah.
And so you go back to the old, American Idol. Did anybody care what Paula said?
Nope.
Who's beginning to care about? Why? Cool. So why are you trying to be Paula? And that's where it's like, there are some people that are a whole lot more fun to hang around than me. But there's not many that are as fruitful. And do I need to determine in life, do I want to be fun or do I want to be fruitful?
God, come on.
Do I want people hanging underneath my tree just because it's a good time?
Wow.
Or because they go? As a leader, I gotta decide. Now, there's a lot of other leaders that are way more fun than me. I can be sure to jerk at a bubble with them. And I'm okay with that. As long as I'm not doing it to be mean.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
And so when it comes to developing, that's just hard though. Because the world it's so different in this environment than the environments we came out of. Is that helpful?
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
What was that helpful with that?
I think for me, what you just said, if people want to do anything fun of developing them, I think that really, I'm learning a lot about how to lead people in leadership in general, and that's just shifted for me because I always want people to have fun, and that's my biggest motivator. Like, do they have fun with me because that makes them want to hang out with me. But instead, if I'm going to lead people, am I challenging them enough where they're developing, even if it is being mean, because it doesn't come from that heart, which is the heart of wanting to develop them. And looking at it from that perspective, like, sometimes I might not be fun, but I'm developing and pulling out that potential. So
That's good.
I'm just not, again, this is me. I've been in motion for a long time. I've got years ahead of you guys. But just as I look back, when we started the church, I started to become very intentional about how I interact with people. I'm not just like trivial, like, oh, how's the weather? Did you check out the game? I just don't have a lot of space for that in my life. I got a limited number of moments and a limited number of times that I get to connect with people. And I want it to be meaningful.
Yeah.
But I also know that a lot of people aren't coming to me because they want to, hey, laugh and chuckle. I'm okay with that. But I know that when I do get a moment to connect in a meaningful way, I want it to be important. I want it to be. But I also know that the other side of it is there's not a lot of people who are like, hey, LP, why don't you come to movies with me? Because I'm probably not the funnest guy to hang out with. But the reality is, I'm okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
But if I get caught up on, oh, all the other guys are going out and hanging out at movies and they didn't invite me.
That's so good.
Now I start changing me so that I get.
Geez.
That's really good.
So that's where I like me.
Yeah.
I am fun, but you know what's fun? Winning.
Yeah.
I love winning. It's a competition. Everything is a competition. We're gonna go. If you're gonna be part of my staff and you don't compete, you won't make it. I'll kick you off. We don't do things just to do them. We do them to win.
Yeah.
I expect you to have more e-group signups than any other campus. I expect you to have more students sign up than any other campus. Is it a competition? Hell yes. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Because that's how we get better.
That's awesome.
But it's a challenge because again, you don't want anybody fighting. Now again, I know who I am. I've been a part of this for 11 years. I've got some skin. It's easier for me to say that. I'm not saying it from the perspective of the new kid on the block who doesn't know anybody. It's different. That's where you got to contextualize. You got to work through who you are and your personality. You can't just say, well, I just got to be fruitful like LD. No, I'm just painting some things up here to give you, to let you see a perspective of stuff. Be it through your personality.
Yes.
Be who God created you to be. I don't want to change you. I want to make you better.
Yes.
We want version 2.0.
It's good.
I was just going to say that I think that the last thing you said about you're really intentional is the most, like probably the thing that's helped me the most because that's not an experience I've gotten to have before. So I think what it's helped me do is realize the stuff that I'm dealing with, you're so intentional with your questions that it actually leads my thinking to resolving the solution, and you're just helping me pinpoint that. So what I've taken from that is I have a buddy back in California who's dealing with some stuff right now, and I've been able to put into practice what I've seen you do and had personal experience with you do into his life, and seeing him work some of that stuff out. And it's crazy because then I wonder like how many times have I missed out on the opportunity to be intentional with someone and just being like, how's the game? Like, how's life? Oh, cool. All right, talk to you next week. But like, do I want to be the fun guy that everyone wants to hang out with, or do I want to be the guy who helps people, who betters them, who can produce fruit in their lives? Like kind of what you're saying. So every time I encounter you, I'm always so engaged because I feel like I can just gain a lot from what you have to say and how intentional you are.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you actually brought it up, and I've always wanted to ask you that. And I know you said you're an encourager by nature, but then when it came to connecting with people, you did have to, almost like what Ty was alluding to, you have to be more intentional about connecting with people. So how much of it was just natural to you, but like what intentional things like did you practically have to do to get yourself moving in the direction you wanted to go with being able to connect and relate with people on a deeper level?
Part of it's a formula. So with my wife, again, there's a tendency in the male to not necessarily want to hear what the female counterpart is saying. But it's much more intense. Are you done talking yet so I can tell you what you should do? I'm sure no other men in the room have experienced that. You just like, guys are being whooped. No, and I realized I'm completely failing because my wife is she's not wanting me to do what I want to do. She's not wanting me to fix anything. She's simply wanting me to listen. It's very foreign to me. In my head, if we're going to talk about it, why wouldn't we do something?
Come on, somebody.
But so year one of marriage over, it was our 1 year anniversary. We married 16 years ago. We had a knockdown, drag out fight our anniversary 1 year. It was like I made this dinner. It was wonderful. And I said, baby, in a word, how would you describe the first year of marriage? And she was like, love, babe. I can't remember exactly what the word was. Just like flowers and rainbows. And I said, hard. You would have thought I said she's like ugly. You would have, what do you mean being married to me? It's hard. But baby, I mean, it's work. What do you always work being married? I'm like, that's not what I'm saying. And like 2 hours later, like, no, why didn't we start fighting? Yeah. And I'm like, and I go back to that moment, and it's like, so part of the formula with my wife is when she starts sharing about her day, I lock eyes and put my phone down. Formula. I am not inclined. I have on the spiritual gift inventories when it comes to mercy, I'm a negative. I'll listen the first time. Second time, I'm like, come on now, let's go. Third time, I'm like, why do you keep telling me that? But now when I see my wife every day, I can't. So you can see how it becomes alive. So I can't. All of you have strengths and weaknesses. What you can't do is let your weaknesses become liability.
That's good. Yeah. That's good.
So in your leadership repertoire, what you have to do is know where your weaknesses are. I have zero empathy. And my wife can just start looking like, you don't really care, do you? I'm like, I'm trying. But what I can't do is let my weakness become a liability. A liability is when it's exposed. And when it gets exposed is when we have discord in our marriage. Because I am not valuing my wife in that moment, no matter not if I feel like I'm justified or not. So what I've learned to do this form with my wife is put my phone down, listen with my face. Not just listen with my ears. Face. I gotta listen. I have to tell myself, listen with your face. That's literally what I speak. It's like, listen with my face. And then I listen, and I simply say, here's my 3-step formula with my wife. And I've told her, she knows the game I'm playing. But it helps. And it is, but it helps me. It's a discipline. I'm really sorry. She's talking about taking the kids to Target, and Carson is screaming, and Linda's going crazy, and Corbin just wants Pokemon. I'd be like, well, why did you take him in the store? I could go with that option. It doesn't go well. I'm really sorry. Meaning I acknowledge her feelings. So I'm not empathetic by nature, but when I say that, I say, you are entitled to those feelings.
Yeah.
What I used to think is if I acknowledge it, I agree with it.
Right.
Just means I love you.
Oh.
Acknowledging your feelings doesn't mean I agree with it, it just means I love you. I'm really sorry. Second thing, that must have been hard. All of that screaming 5-year-old through Target who's getting underneath dresses and throwing crap. That must have. Third thing, how did it make you feel? Because the reality is, and this is just me being honest with you. I have to force myself to walk through the technique with my wife because I'm so familiar with her. Somebody I've never met before, that's intuitive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right, wrong, or indifferent, it's where. So that's why I get a discipline. So the other part I do with my wife, so this is marital advice. You didn't ask for it, but here's what helps me. It's all about getting in the right lane. So where traffic accidents happen is you get in the wrong lane. So the visual I have in my head is when I'm driving home, that's all about getting in the right lane to be husband and be father. So if I'm on the way home and I'm in the lane of on the phone, making phone calls, returning texts, emails, of course I don't text when I'm driving. But if I'm in this lane and I walk in the door, I'll always have a traffic accident.
Wow.
But my immaturity will tell me it was her problem.
Right.
But when I get in the right lane, I actually put the phone down and I pray and I put on worship music and say, Lord, help me understand what my wife has been doing today.
That's good.
Oh yeah, here's what she had scheduled today. Lord, help me be a good dad. Oh yeah, Corbin had that test in science today. So now I know I'm in the right lane when I walk in the door and I'm like, hey Corbin, how was your science test, man?
Yeah.
Versus, hey, how was your day?
Yeah.
Because when I notice the detail of their day, I'm being a good father.
Yeah.
Hey honey, I know you had that doctor's appointment this morning. I'm praying for you. And maybe, just maybe, there are moments where I actually live in the right lane. And during the day, I'm like, hey, honey, I know you have the doctor appointment. Praying for you right now.
Yeah.
And so for me, I've got to learn how to get in the right lane so I can lead the altitude. Because if I do that well, I walk in the house and now things don't frustrate me and annoy me. But if I'm living in the wrong lane of like, get crap done, you're a campus pastor guy, my wife looking wants to see it. I'm not one of your volunteers.
Oh my.
Yes, ma'am. True, but it's and so because sometimes I can feel like I can lead 25,000 people, but I can't lead my wife. And that space, what's that get filled with?
Wow.
And I'll either fill it with bitterness, or it's her problem because nobody else has got this problem.
Yeah.
And then God quickly showed me, and nobody else sees these parts of you. And there's nobody else can expose the things that I want to work on. So yeah, that's just real. That's where, that's where I'm like, I'd rather be helpful.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to be impressive.
How do you not let that formula that you were just talking about look like a formula?
My wife gives me permission to have a formula. She gives me, because at least I'm trying.
Yeah.
And that's where it's like, at the end of it, it's like, she's like, I'm trying. She's got a lot of grace when she sees me trying.
So if I was going to use this formula with a friend, and obviously the mercy, not having mercy with that person is something that I'm battling. If they continually bring I took the 3 kids to Target and they're all running around frantic, and I say I'm sorry, 3 consecutive weeks we had the same conversation. How do I not steer away from that formula? How do I add something to that formula to get away from just being more into speaking into the situation?
Yeah, and so if I were to give you just a formula for coaching and development, very first step I'm always looking for in any conversation is awareness. Awareness. It's amazing. As soon as you write something on the board, everybody writes it down. But awareness. Because I'm talking to the person, I'm going to ask questions that's going to exhibit their level of awareness of what's happening. And so, so awareness is like somebody walks off the stage just having done a walk-up. I'm not going to tell them whether I thought they did good or bad. I'm going to simply say, how'd you feel like you did? It's a question about awareness. They're like, I killed it. But they sucked. Okay, now I'm trying to figure out why the gap in awareness. Okay, so that's where, again, the closer you are to me, the more direct I am. The further away you are, I'm going to be probably a little more soft in it. I mean, Dom knows what it's like. Get kicked out of a meeting. You want to talk about close? Like, Dom, get out. No, right now. I kicked him out of a meeting once because he had his crap together. Now he'll never do that again. Why? Because he was really close to me. And the closer you get to me, the more that I feel like there's got to be unfiltered feedback.
Yeah.
And the access I give you is really determined by how well you receive the feedback. If it crushes you, I just know that you can't be in that close. Again, that's where I can't let weaknesses become liabilities because I can have a heavy hand with it, but I need to use it appropriately. So awareness. So he's like, man, I killed him. I'm like, what makes you think like you did well? I hit my clock. Cool. Anything else? Awareness. It's kind of like, I know you need a breath mint. Do you know you need a breath mint? Awareness. So the person taking the kid to Walmart is like, okay, you're aware that that's a problem, but are you aware of what's causing the problem? Are you aware of what's causing it? So I need, this question's all about awareness. It's like, are you aware? If you're not aware, why aren't you aware? It's like the reality is some of you see people acting out certain ways in here, and that person who's acting like that is unaware of how they're acting. Completely unaware. And you ask them, it's like, how do you think you're doing with everyone else? Yeah, I'm doing great, but I had one campus pastor about a year and a half ago. I said, tell me about how you feel the unity is in your campus. 1 to 10. They said it's a 9. I went and talked to 2 of their staff members, and they both said a 2. Why? Awareness. So second step for me underneath it is, and again, this is no formula, this is no paper I'm going to write, this is just things that help me. Control. Do they feel like they have any control over changing their situation? So what happens in life is when we feel powerless, we feel powerless because we don't feel like we have any control. Right? So therefore, at that point, I don't feel like I can even actually change anything that's going on. I have zero control. So the person who's continually bringing stuff to you, what needs to ring the bell is they don't feel like they've got any control to change it. And if all I do is get mad that they don't change, I'm not helping them get any better. Being the leader is not pointing out the answer. Pointing them to the truth is leadership. It's obnoxious when you tell people that the answer. Well, here's what you should do. I have very few of conversations do I say, here's what you need to do. There are conversations where I do need to do that. Very few though, because what I want to do is take people on a journey so they walk to like, I got it. Because if I can walk you through that discipline, you can start to maybe do it yourself. Okay? Yeah. You know, Psalm 43:5. Why so downcast, O my soul? Why so disturbed within me? What's going on? Am I aware? Make sense? So awareness and control are 2 just big benchmarks I use with working with people. Like, are they aware of the problem? Cool. Yeah. Should I talk about what we said? But is this helpful? Yeah. What helped you? Let me jump. I was like, here. What encouraged you?
For me, it's when you said some of you guys give up too easily, and it just kind of reminded me of the first conversation that I had with you. You're like, so David, you know, what did you think about Pastor serving this last week? And I was like, oh man, it was amazing. And you're like, what was amazing about it? And I was like, he said that we must love Jesus. You know, and I think what you did is that you created an awareness that I have given up, not given up, but I become, the formula I've become to use, started using back home was just kind of surface level. Like, so how did you think church was? Oh, it was good. Awesome, cool. Next person. Hey, how did you think church was? Oh, it was good. And then that translated to, so me asking someone else, hey, how are you? And they're like, oh man, I'm having a tough time. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. You know. And so what that did to me is that it's like, you're giving up to easy and actually caring about the things that should matter to you. And so when you see some of you guys are giving up to easy, I wrote that down because I kind of started thinking like, what are some of the things that I'm giving up to easily at because I'm concentrating on the other things that I'm really good at. And so one of those elements for me personally is leading off of the stage. Because I think it's easy for me as a worship leader to kind of think that my job stops at leading people into God's presence and then kind of getting off stage and getting a high. But it's like, and then God called me to actually lead people off and on stage and start having those conversations in the foyer with first time guests or kind of, you know, and so now it's kind of giving me the opportunity to be on platform, on stage and look out to people and start to kind of look at their faces and for me, and then, okay, cool, the next step now is for me to go out and to find that person out there and to kind of try and have that conversation like, hey, you know, how are you? You know, I just want to let you know that I love the way you worship and giving that small reward of encouragement is me taking the next step instead of me just kind of giving up to easy after the experience, kind of walking off stage and going, awesome. I remembered all my lyrics and I watched the LP and as soon as it came up, I made sure the energy levels were up there. Cool. It's like, no, you're giving up to easy.
That's awesome.
That's really good. I love when, again, Lonnie mentioned it, when you were talking about people being under your tree because it's fun or because they're growing. And my biggest tension in life is I love keeping peace. I love having community around me. And when I picture heaven, I picture me with the people that I'm with now. I picture me with our Heavenly Father with a bunch of friends. But I learned in Elevation Essential over the summer, if you truly care or love someone, you're going to call out the thing that's hindering them or that's keeping them from where they need to be. And so what that has done and what you've talked about today has pushed me deeper into a place that is allowing me to take inventory of the underlying belief that's driving me in my relationships with those around me. And if I really, really do care about them, then I will call out that thing. Then I won't care about whether or not there is peace between us. Because it's something deeper. It's something to get them there. It's not about just me and them. And so it's kind of pulling me away from this selfish motive that I have.
Yeah, love it. Love it. One of the craziest stories in the Bible is Jesus walking on some of his disciples and he sees this fig tree that's supposed to have figs on it, and he walks up to it and he cursed it and it died. Doesn't make any sense. There's this beautiful big tree just waving in the wind. There's all these leaves that look really impressive, but no fruit. No fruit. Do I want to have a lot of leaves that just look fun, or do I want to have fruit? Yeah. That's where, because the tree was in season. Jesus wouldn't curse it, asked fruit from it that it couldn't bear. But it wasn't producing what it was designed to do. But it looked impressive. And then the appearance of godliness, but no substance.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of sizzle and no steak.
Yeah.
So use the word call out, and I would even want to maybe reframe that a little bit. Because the more I've kind of lived in that phrase, I think sometimes it creates like, I need to call people out on their crap.
Right.
I'm learning that's a surgical knife that I got to use pretty infrequently. But I like the word awareness. Is if I can help you become aware of something versus me calling you out on something. And that's where I become a developer. And so people want to come back to that because of how I help them get better.
Yeah. Right.
Are there times to call people out? Absolutely. Saw an intern the other day just kind of laying on the bench. I walked by, I was like, son, sit up. We don't act like that here. I'm not gonna stop at that moment and say, are you aware? Sit up. Yeah, we don't act like that. Well, there's a time to do that. But there's also the time to say, I'm going to ask really good questions. I should be 3 questions away from ministry. I'm going to ask really good questions to hopefully get you to see what I see. And now it's on my job as a leader and developer and coach to get you walking down the path to become aware of what I'm aware of. Yeah, that's cool. We can talk all day about that. Yeah. But we got to talk about this other crap. Flip with me really quickly. I do want to cover this concept just in a few minutes we have. I hope that was helpful.
Yeah.
And it just, yeah. This is a hard place to get up to speed on, and it's so different speed than other places, and it's not always easy. And it's in that silent place. It's in the private moments that really define how we're going to continue to move forward. And it's not saying that you won't have those feelings. It's just what you do with them when they come. And again, nobody thinks of working on the roof when it's sunny. You know, nobody thinks about the umbrella on a sunny day. It's only when it's raining you realize, oh crap, I need an umbrella. And so generally the time to work on the marriage is not in the middle of the fight.
Good.
It's the next day when the sun comes up.
Yeah.
But the next day when the sun comes up, things are okay and we're through it, so it's really not. It's kind of that's good. And so when you trace yourself back in the last 6 weeks and you start looking at the moments where you've had this blank space where you fill it in with the wrong things, is to go back and learn from it and say, no, what was causing that? Because you will have that space again. And where it becomes really valuable, coaching is all about taking past experience that predict future experiences. Now, how can I, the next time that thought, that thing, that image, hey, they didn't encourage me. What am I going to insert into blank space? And predetermine it.
Yeah.
Preside what you're going to believe. Did I give it my best effort? Was I prepared? Did I do my due diligence? Yes, cool. Then I gave God my best effort. I'm going to be okay with it. Doesn't mean I don't evaluate to see how I could have done it better. But the same level of attention you would want on the encouragement, put that to the preparation. So now for me, why do I spend 6 hours doing a 7-minute devotional at 7 for 7 at 7? Why? Because I'm going to be freaking prepared. Because even if it sucks, it won't be because I had a lack of effort. I was never the best athlete on any team. But every team I was a part of, I got the hustle award. No one will out-hustle me. Yeah. You'll be faster than me. You will be better than me, but you will not out-effort me. I will never lose for lack of effort. Ever. Ever. And so, again, that's where you don't have to be a great athlete to be a part of it. Just gotta have persistence. Amen. Right?
Yes.
Yeah, Britt. Tell them. Talk Britt, get bit. Who's that? Tell JT that. Bit. There's attitude on it. I'm going to be in Mark 5 for just a few minutes. So I'll talk about honor for just a couple minutes. Honor, I would just give you a quick definition of honor. It would be this. Honor and respect are used interchangeably a lot. I think it can be in a lot of settings, and I think it's fine in a lot of settings. I want to use them as a different definition to illustrate a point. Respect would be something people earn based upon their performance. So respect is something people earn based upon performance. So if somebody is killing it, they get respect. Cam Newton's throwing touchdowns, everybody loves him. He's throwing some interceptions, losing some games, bench the ball. So it's a performance driven. Most relationships live in the currency of respect. Because if my wife is treating me with respect, then I'll probably respect her. If the house is clean, I'll respect her. If he is nice to me, then I'll respect him. You know you're living in a respect world when you start saying, I can't respect him. Because it's about their performance. But respect is really the way the world lives. It's the hardwiring of the human. I believe that. I think that's the natural default setting after sin entered the world. I think it's not the way we were originally designed, but I think it was rewired with sin. And but honor is something people earn based upon their. Honor is something I give based upon their position.
Yeah.
So respect is based upon performance. Honor is based upon position. Respect is really all about them. Honor is all about me. Because honor is a choice. Honor cannot happen unless Christ is on the seat of my life. It cannot happen. And the two can look very similar, but you really don't know which one it is until you don't get your way. Because the two can be really similar. It's kind of like you got a car that runs on natural gas and electric, or it runs on gas and electric. It's got two different power sources. But when one of them dies, you kind of see which one is operating. And so I can be really nice to somebody, and that could be driven by respect, and it could be driven by honor. Now, it's a heart issue, but the language can be very similar. That's what Jesus says, you honor me with your lips, but your heart is far from me. Because his honor is such a heart thing. Yeah. But I cannot honor unless Christ is on the seat of my life. And so this whole positional thing, honor is based upon a position I hold in my life. I honor my wife because she's my wife, not because of her behavior. Not because of her actions, not because of her words. I honor her because of the position she holds. I honor the police officer not because they were right or wrong, but because they're an authority that God has established in my life. I honor my pastor not because he preached a good sermon, but because he holds that position in my life. So honor is all about position. Respect is about performance. So the guy is killing it, selling all kinds of stuff at work. Yeah, let's make an employee of the quarter. As a couple down quarters, now he's expendable. And I think we live in a world where respect really drives our motives. I think it's more of the motivation than maybe we even realize. And so I would illustrate it through the story of the prodigal father. So Luke 15, you can go back and read it. I'll just summarize it for time's sake. And so the story of the prodigal father is son wakes up, says, Dad, I wish you were dead, because if you were dead, I could have your money. I don't want to wait till you're dead. How much you need my money now? But you're basically dead to me. And so the dad gives him his coin. He gives him what he wants. What he wants is really not what he needs. Because what you want is not what you need. Not one man. No, you need a holiness. You need cohabitation. You need something else. And so he gets what he wants. He goes off to Vegas and he gets naked and crazy. True story. Read the Bible. He wakes up in a pig pen with all kinds of loose women. And dude's like, he's been walking the streets. And he wakes up. And he says to himself, man, I'm no longer worthy to be called my father's son. But maybe, just maybe, I'll go back to him because the pigs are eating better than I'm eating. Maybe there's scraps at my dad's table. So he wakes up. And I think that it's an image that we're all created in the image of God. And there's an indelible thumbprint that's placed upon us that's always wooing us back to the Father. Yes. And so when people are coming to church, they're not coming to church, they're coming back to the Father. Yeah. Yeah. And it's because we kind of hold the seat of representing the Father. And so when he wakes up from the pig pen, he starts walking towards Dad, and he starts that long walk home. And he says, he's rehearsing the speech, I'm no longer worthy to be called your dad. I treat you like one of your hired slaves. So he's rehearsing this speech of unworthiness. And I would want you to see the image of the posture of unworthiness. Like, what does it look like? What do you picture this guy looking like as he's walking down this long road? You're unworthy. This would be the girl who wakes up in the dorm room that doesn't know who's sleeping next to her. She pulls the hat really low and tries to walk a shame back to her dorm. It's that walk of shame. That shoulders are slumped, hands are in his pocket. He's not making eye contact. He's looking down. It's that posture of unworthiness. Can you recognize that posture? It may be physically, it may be emotionally, it may be spiritually. Can you recognize the posture of unworthiness? And of no longer worthy to be called your son. Talk about the lowest place. But what put him in that position? He did. His performance. Now, in that time that this parable is told, respect dominated the world, because what that son just did with his dad was basically to say, Dad, you're dead. Which what should have happened in the home is that son would have been like, he's dead. He's removed, and no one would have even been allowed to say his name in the home anymore. He is dead to us because of your performance. Your performance determined that you're dead to me. And so respect meant, you're going to treat me like that? Here's what's going to happen because it is, you are dead to me, son. No one could ever talk about that kid ever again. He is dead. It's like he never existed. And the son knows it. That's why he's positioning himself to beg from his father, because he knows what's waiting. He might not have realized it as he was walking away from the house because of the excitement of where he was going. But once it was empty, now it's the shame of coming back.
Yeah.
And he knows what he's going to be met with. That's why he's practicing his speech. I'm not even going to look him in the eyes. I'm no longer worthy to be called your son. Treat me like one of your hired slaves. Just, please, do you have a place for me so I can eat something? What position did he hold in his father's life? He was his son. You have the performance of saying you're dead to me, but the position of being his son.
Oh man. Yeah.
So you have these two worlds colliding: respect, you're dead to me, treat him like one of the hired slaves.
That's really good.
And honor.
Yeah.
So he comes back to the father, and it says, so the father said, it says, well, the father saw him while he was still a long way off, which meant the father knew that his son would eventually come home. And he's looking for him. How many people are walking up and down that road? I don't know, maybe a bunch, maybe he was the only person. But he saw him while he was a long way. But what does the scripture say about the father? He ran to the son. A couple reasons I would suggest. One is because he was so excited to see his son come back. Because he says, this son of mine is dead, is alive again, let's kill the bad guy. That's one reason. But I think the other reason is this, because what should have happened in the town is when they see the son coming back home, the elders of the town would have went and got that son and taken him behind the woodshed and beat the crap out of him, because he was not allowed to come back in the presence of his father ever again. He was not allowed to. So the elders of the town would have not allowed you to go see the father. And so I think one of the images of him running is to get there ahead of the elders.
Wow.
Why? Why did he run towards his son? He loves him? What's the word we're preaching on today?
Honor.
Honor is about position. Right. What does the father say? This son of mine was dead and is alive again. Beautiful. And he completely ignores his son's rehearsed speech. Father, I'm no longer worthy to be called your son. Screw that crap. Kill an animal. Let's eat it. Reason we're not supposed to be a vegetarian. Evidence in the scriptures. Vegetarian, you're outside the will of God. He didn't say kill some broccoli. Kill some cauliflower. No. The fatted calf, the best calf. Not the strong and little one, but the fatted calf. The one that's been, God's best is available to the prodigals. Why? Because it's about his position. He honored him because it's his son. It's a beautiful image of respect versus honor.
So good.
Honor said, the son of mine is dead. Alive again. Kill the animal. Put a ring on his finger, establishing his sonship. Putting the lineage, put a robe on it. Kingly robe. Put some sandals on his feet. All the rewards that were waiting for him before he left were still available when he came back.
Man.
And did his performance justify? It's all about his position. And that's the image of the gospel, where we were dead in our sins.
That's right.
You know, what we deserved versus what we were given. The inheritance that is awaiting for all of us. Not just a one-time thing, but every time we turn from God and we run towards the pig pen, whatever it looks like. And sometimes a really arrogant place I can get to is I fail to remember what the pig pen smelled like.
Yeah. Yeah,
because the other side of the story is like, Dad, I'm here all the time. You don't kill anything for me, my boys. What's wrong with you? You suck, Dad. Because he's got access to it every day. He doesn't understand the significance of it. Because he soon becomes so familiar with it. Because the opposite of honor is not dishonor. It's common and ordinary. When we let things become common and ordinary, we have dishonored them.
That's right.
So with my wife, when I start treating her like I treat all other women, she's become common and ordinary. When the word of God carries no more weight than Nicholas Sparks,
wow,
the word of God has become common and ordinary.
Jesus, wow.
when my pastor's sermons carry no more weight than Dr. Phil or Oprah, it's become common and ordinary. My wife can say, I've been telling you to do that 20 times, and he says it once and you do it. What have I done with my wife's voice?
Wow.
That's good, Opie.
And it's an insidious thing. It's not like you wake up one day and say, screw that, I'm not going to listen to what my wife says. It's just it's a slow drift. So you wake up and you're like, how did I kind of get here? Where it's just become common and normal. And so honor means weight. Weight. It means to give weight or significance. And when it talks about honor one another above yourselves, it means to give weight. In premarital counseling, I talk to the couple and we'll describe the difference between compromise and submit. Because submit's like a 4-letter word in our culture. But it's very biblical. Submit to one another. Submit means to put my preference aside. To compromise means to put God's standard aside. Never compromise and always submit. Never compromise. Never put God's standard aside. Never, ever, ever, ever. Always submit. And when we talk about honor, what really kills the culture of honor is the perspective of personal preference. We're all pretty narcissistic. Again, I send you a group picture. Who do you look for first? You. It's natural. It's the hardwiring. And often what kills our unity is your preference. Because it's not about how smart we are, it's about how united we are on whatever we decide to do.
Right.
And when we talk about honor connects to it in this way of saying, do I really need to fight for my preference? Some of you, the greatest thing you could do is to go on a 21-day opinion fast. Wow. Some of you are so addicted to your opinion, it's a visceral response. And if you feel like you don't voice it, you're going to throw up because I just got to tell them what I think. In 100 years, that won't even matter. In 10 years, it won't matter. In next week, it won't matter. And so what would it look like if you start conditioning yourself to not be inclined to your preference? Some of you have so fallen into the background, you don't have opinions on anything. And so it's not for everybody. Because if I'm coaching some of you have an opinion for everything. Shut up. Some of you, we don't even know if you speak English. Speak up. I never heard your voice. I'm like, I didn't even know, does it work? Some of you don't feel like you've got a voice. Yeah. And some of you feel like, oh, yes, I do. I have a voice and I'm going to use it. Not bad, but are you aware of how it's impacting the world around you? Yeah, the words I'm speaking, increasing unity, or is it creating disunity? Am I adding to our understanding, or am I just trying to paint my own picture?
That's a good question.
And so contribute. Contribute to what we're doing, not what you're building. And often what happens with people is when they start to fight for their opinion, they start to fight for their preference and what they think, rather than what's best. Makes sense?
Yes.
And so this whole idea of honor, it is a choice I make that says, because of the position you hold in my life, I'm going to give it. I'm not going to wait to determine if you deserve it. Is that helpful?
Yeah.
You ever heard the term, what you see is what you get?
Yeah.
How have you heard that used before? What you see? Cool. What else?
I would say as a cop-out for not meeting someone else's expectations. What you see is what you get.
Very good. If all I see is when I see my son, if all I see is a snot-nosed little punk who doesn't listen to his dad, guess what he might grow up to become? What you see is what you get. Because what you see is determined by perspective. So the respect mentality says my son's behavior means I paint a picture that looks like this. It's a snot-nosed little punk. But the honor lens sees what they can be.
That's good.
It always speaks to that.
Yeah.
My son is this amazing little young man of God, anointed. He just made a bad choice. I had a whole lot of room to work with them. Because what you see is what you speak. What you speak is what is created. So if I see my son as a snot-nosed little punk, how do I talk to that? Guess the atmosphere he grows up in, that he might become that.
Yeah.
And some of you are sitting in a seat that someone spoke over you that was not God's original design. What you see is called the perspective principle. Perspective. What you see is what you get.
Right.
If I see my wife as a nag, guess what I see her as every time I walk in the door? It's your perspective. It's not her behavior.
Right.
And you are so fixated. When you get fixated on their behavior, it's because you're driven by respect. They would just. Oh crap. They would just. Maybe if I could just see. But if I see my wife as an amazing woman of God, who's having a bad day, conversations are completely different. Because it flows from the heart. It flows. How I see is really determined by it. I might use flowery language, but it's really driven by the perspective of my heart. Honors and overflow. God, what do you see? So Brittany, stand up. So everybody can see you. So this is Brittany. So Brittany, tell us how other people saw you from their perspective when you were a kid.
Well, as a kid, it depends on his perspective.
With people who might not have seen you the right way.
As annoying, strong-willed, probably too strong-willed for what a little girl should be. They saw me as a nuisance, as probably a troublemaker, probably not what they would want. They wanted a boy, not a little girl. Probably, I mean, not all bad, but a lot of negativity. Probably.
How did it shape how you grew up?
Well, I grew up in harder circumstances, like a harsh, angry home. But it also helped me to persevere in more difficult circumstances. In some ways. So I learned how to persevere in hard situations.
Was it an atmosphere that was very conducive to growing, or did you grow in spite of the atmosphere?
In spite of.
So the atmosphere that you create either causes people to grow or they grow in spite of it. Because what you see is what you get.
Yeah.
And a lot of people can't grow in spite of it.
Yeah.
And you're standing here today growing in spite of it.
Yeah.
Probably not because of it. And so people saw you. They saw a certain thing. But then it created an atmosphere that probably tried to produce that thing. It's probably not a conscious choice. I don't think the two are connected in a way of like, hey, I don't see him this way, therefore I'm going to talk this way, hoping to produce what I see. I don't think it's like a conscious choice, but I think it's a default setting. Because I speak to what I see. But what do you guys see when you look at Ricky?
Conquer.
Conquer, yeah, for sure.
Give me time. I can't even. What do you see when you look at it?
A beast.
Go get it.
Friendly.
So what you had happen in Brittany's world is the in spite of us is, you know what, I've got to develop a tough exterior because I can't let them see they hurt me.
Yeah.
And I'll show them. And so now I'm a get crap done beast woman because I reacted in a way that says I won't let them define me.
Yeah. Good. Come on.
Yep. It's a huge gift. But the unintended consequence, now it's hard for me to let people in.
Yep.
Because I fought, my whole life has been, my whole life has been here. They try to get close, it's like, and so there's a great gift in it, but there's also the unintended consequence of it. Too close. And so what you see is what you get. What do you see when you look at each other? Gosh, thanks for letting me do that. Is that helpful?
Yeah.
What you see is what you get. So what do you see when you look in the mirror?
Mm-hmm.
For a long time, what did you see when you looked in the mirror? The honest thing you saw in the mirror.
Insecurity, not able, inability, not fit.
The battle of life is you draw a picture of yourself and you label, put all the words around it that you would use that you just used. Is that the picture that God's got hanging on his fridge? No. So how do you overlay the two when they look the same? Because the reality is honor. Honor means weight. The reality is I give more weight to my opinion than what God said.
That's good.
And so the reason I oftentimes cannot honor someone else is not because of issues I have with them, but it's more of a reflection of issues with me. And so honor means weight. What carries more weight in your world? What you think or what God said? We all know the textbook answers. We can all get an A on the test. Cha-ching, but how about the laboratory portion that we kind of live? Which one carries more weight? So you look in the mirror. So maybe your assignment would be that. Draw a picture of yourself. Like draw a picture. Like this would be like it would be like child play therapy. That would give you some crayons and some markers. I'm not kidding. Some of you might think that's trivial. No, it's not. Draw the picture how you, because if you tell some people draw a picture of themselves, they draw this person. It's really fat. They're this skinny little girl, but it's how they feel.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about draw the accurate picture of how you feel. Why would you do that? Some people's like, why would you do that? And I'm okay if they think that. That's cool. That's fine. But why would you do that? Break one down.
You can't change your mindset if you don't know what your mindset is.
You cannot change anything you don't understand. Because those forces have been at work for so long, it's autopilot.
That's it.
You don't need to tell me to do it. It's autopilot. Button's been pushed, that thing is in motion. But where you start to really become powerful is you start to understand the motives.
Right.
What's driving that? What's creating? Where's that coming from? So you write down the word insecure. If it were just me and you in the room, I would be like, tell me about the first time as a little girl you thought you were insecure. But nobody else is in there, so you can answer. Yeah.
Oh gosh. Well, it's not a happy story. It's probably my first memory, which was an abusive incident with my father, and like that's the first thing I ever remember. Would be that. So that would be where it all stemmed from. Yeah.
What did you feel in that moment?
I was scared. I mean, as a young girl, you don't know it, like why. So I was confused and scared, I would say.
And sometimes in life, things can happen as adults that makes us feel like a little girl. And when I can connect those dots, now I have something powerful. But I like to bury that stuff sometimes. So I'm over it. I'm done with it. Remember, the angriest place I ever got in life punched to a school. This right here, this scar right here. I punched a mirror. I was drunk. I woke up in the morning. One morning, I was getting drunk, and wasn't God's heart. I punched in the mirror. So I was drunk. I woke up the next morning. I looked in the mirror and I saw my dad. The man I hated the most, I became. I got so mad. I got drunk again. Probably not the best choice. But the angriest place for me is like I became the person because I so wanted to not be like it. But it wasn't until I actually saw it that I actually started to realize I don't have to. And so when you start to paint that picture, like, what's driving me? What am I giving weight? Is everybody would look? Is anybody would look at Brittany and say, like, she's an insecure little girl? No. Oh my gosh, she's like this boss chick who can. And nobody else, I mean, everybody else paints a picture of you that would not be a word. That would even be on the page. But when it's right in front of me, it's all I see. Yeah. And so that's where it starts to become really powerful. Because, again, honor is about weight. What are you giving weight? So next to the insecurity, so if that's on your page, I would want you to write underneath insecurity, right? So if that is, because the reality is sometimes I use words like, I know I'm strong, I know I'm powerful, make sure those words get on there too. Don't just use dark colors when you're painting your picture.
That's good.
Because there are moments where you do see shades of light. Make sure those get on the picture as well.
Good.
Don't paint such an incomplete picture that's only one end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Because you might not see it very often, but celebrate when you do. Because you can figure out when you see it, you can maybe recreate it.
Right.
But next to the word of insecurity, that's the way I see myself. What does God say about me? Okay, what would be it? Somebody can help Brittany on that one. What might God say? Okay, excellent. So now what you do is you put God's power next to the insecurity, and it blows it up. God, I'm feeling insecure today. I'm seeing myself as insecure. So if it's a coaching technique and I'm working with Brittany, I want her to become aware of when she's feeling insecure. I'm feeling insecure. Because in the past, I wasn't aware. Woo! Yep. Small victories, I'm becoming aware. God, I'm feeling insecure. Now what do I do with that thought? I take it captive, and I make it obedient. For we do not fight with worldly weapons, but we have the power to destroy it, to demolish the strongholds of the enemy. That's it. So now I'm feeling insecure. Now what do I say after that? Boom.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Where did you give weight? To what God said.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay, that's real good.
So what do you do in the moments where you want to fill in the blank space with that stuff? You're going to have those feelings come up. You will. You absolutely will. Maybe it takes me 3 hours to become aware of it. Yeah, maybe it takes me 3 weeks to become aware of it. Because the reason I'm getting in a fight with my wife at night isn't because of that night. It's because of me feeling insecure in the morning. And it's been running in the background the whole day, and I've been feeling like, But now if I can close the gap when the time it starts to be introduced to the time I become aware of it, that's maturity. Maturing on our faith is closing that gap. So when I talk about coaching, development, that's the stuff I talk about. Now we'll work on technique for stage and volunteer huddles. Absolutely. That's important too. Gotta get that right. But this is the stuff that Helen Maroulis, the Olympic gold medalist, is struggling with 8 days before the gold medal. We have to break it down and go to the place and say, why are you feeling? Take me back, Helen, about in your past when you felt that thing before. Because now if I can get you to connect dots with, I see a pattern. I heard a good sermon series about patterns. These patterns. That's where the enemy is going to probably try to sneak in the future. I can connect the dots to predict future patterns, and now I don't have to fight like the world fights. Hey, Brittany, nobody noticed you. Calvin will cause her to feel insecure, cause her to do this, cause her to do this, cause her to do this. And down here is where it's like, hey, Brittany, nobody noticed you. You can go to insecurity, I can go a different direction. More than a conqueror. Takes me down a different road.
All right, that's good.
Yeah. That help?
Yeah.
We got 9 minutes left. That help? Thank you for sharing. This is one of my favorites. I don't care if I know it. I'll fight for second place. What questions might you have for me?
What would be a good picture of honoring our campus pastor?
Okay. How do you see it? What you see is what you get. So the parable of talents. I was given the one, I saw you as a hard man. As the 2 and the 5. It's the how do you see it? What you see is what you get.
How do you honor someone when you learn to speak? Because I'm starting to make, I understand it with the respect and everything. How do you
Let's live it out. How does it live?
do it with good intention? As opposed to I just have to honor them.
I would say there's a difference between allowing destructive relationships in your life, and that's where I'm not going to compromise. You put those far out. So honor doesn't mean I let people be destructive. And honor isn't a license for someone to stay in an abusive relationship because I want to honor. No. Get the frick out, we'll beat the crap out of that guy.
Come on.
We will lay hands on him. I got no problem. What I would be more talking about is how can Jesus look at the people that killed him and say, forgive them, for they know not what they do.
Come on.
And we're not Jesus. But he gives us an example of his ability to understand that they didn't understand.
Yeah.
And he filled in the gap by saying, they don't understand. So people are hurting me, saying all kinds of malicious things about me. What do I put in the gap about those people? And so, how do I honor somebody I can't respect? It's to say they probably don't understand what they're doing. And now it gives you empathy to feel for them rather than be angry at them. And so it's hard. But I only get to that on the back end of my emotions about guilt. It's not in the front end. Jesus could be there. I'm not there. We're not Jesus. But it helps us understand that there's a journey to get to that point. But it's painful. It's up and down. It's in and out. There's a lot of stuff. And the more that we develop the technique, take the thought captive. And so I may have told you this story before about when I was on a cruise. Did I ever tell you this story about when I was on a cruise? Jenna went on a cruise about 4 years ago. Went down to Maitre D, down at the restaurant because I wanted to ask a couple questions. Long line of people. There's an old couple right in front of me. Must have been in their 70s. And there was a guy up front talking to the maitre d', taking a very long time. And the couple in front of me was nasty. Like 7-year-olds dropping the F-bomb. Like, what the F is he doing? It was just like, I felt like I needed to take a shower after I got to listen to these people. I can't listen to that stuff and not say anything. I just can't. I'm that guy. If I see somebody flipping a cigarette out their door, I'll honk my horn at them, in my car. If I see him doing it into Walmart, I'll be like, I'm sorry, you dropped something. I will. That's the way I'll handle it. And so this couple, I'm like, I'm sorry. I don't know you, but that man up there, he's actually on a cruise with his wife, and she's terminally ill with cancer. And what he's doing is actually planning to collect their last meal together, and he wants to make sure every detail is accounted for. And they looked at each other like, we feel accountable. They're like, but I was lying. I made the story up, and I never told them. I never told them I lied. What did I give them?
Right.
Sorry. To give my perspective. Yeah. How could I get myself in a perspective that, man, maybe he got in a fight with his wife this morning. And that's the reason he's having a tough time today. Why do I always have to be the center of the story?
Yeah.
Oh, it's because I'm giving more weight to my.
Yeah.
view of myself. Because I always put myself as the star in the story.
Wow.
Why are they mad at me? Why? It has nothing to do with me. But why do I put myself in the center of the story? So that helps me. A few things that help me. I'm not great at it. I still got to work through it. But yeah, a couple more minutes for you.
I don't have a question, but I have a statement, maybe it can help someone else. But I think I'd be confusing grace and honor. And like, I thought that I was like, oh, I'm not gracious or I'm not good at extending people grace, but really, I was just dishonoring people because I thought that like maybe they hadn't earned my respect or maybe their behavior was unrespectable. But because of who they are, I should be honoring them all along. And it wasn't anything to do with grace.
Well, it's good. Because we're all human. And we never want to get in a place that the people that are closest to me, can I let them see the ugly parts of me and they still honor me? Or do I have to live life behind a facade that says, hey, I can't show them those things because they might not? In a respect world, you keep those things hidden. Because if I give you that, it's ammunition to use against me. And so a culture that's dominated by respect doesn't let people see that. But it's truly only in a place of honor that we can actually let people see those things. And that's special. It's important.
I think so far you've been hearing you say these things, so it just think back to my relationship with my parents. I've always had this thing of, you know, like I grew up in church and it's like, you know, children honor your parents. And I think hearing how you kind of explain those two concepts made me feel like I was never really honoring my parents. I chose when to show them respect. Because I think only now I'm kind of thinking I never understood where they were coming from. Purely because the difference in culture that they kind of experienced from the country that they were in and the culture that I was experiencing that was completely different from the culture they had experienced. And so growing up with them was always this massive tension about what I expected them to understand and never looking at it from their perspective. And so it kind of also did something in my mind and in my heart that kind of made me feel like I knew better than them. And just kind of sitting here and listening to the whole honor thing just makes me feel like I need to go back and have a conversation with them about how I feel.
You just illustrated the application. Because when the light of Christ is shown upon those things, we're compelled to respond. Yeah, that's called conviction. And when we operate, we create a cycle of breathing in His grace and breathing out His. God, you illuminated some things in my spirit, in my heart, and I'm going to breathe back out a response that's worthy of your death, Jesus. And that's where the difference between condemnation and conviction. Condemnation is like, gosh, I screwed it up. Conviction is, God, thank you for revealing that. Because we celebrate the conviction. We feel shame over the condemnation. So how can a physician and so I see it as, God, thank you for showing me that. Versus, I feel like I got more. And that's the response that God would want from all of us. But it starts with this thing of like, which one am I going to give? Honor's weight. So when we talk about parental oversight, there's if we have a whole another hour to talk about authority, God's established authority. Called to submit to authority. Why? Because when we're underneath authority, we're underneath the covering of protection. But it's when we reject the authority that we get outside of the protection and the covering that God has established. And everybody we're called to honor is a source of life. Honor your father and your mother is a source of life. Honor your civil authorities that God has established. Authority is a source of life. Doesn't mean it always is. And honor your father and mother. How about if they're straight jerks and they're ugly and mean and bitter and brutal? How can you honor that? I can't give a textbook answer, but I can say that God gives you the grace to be able to do it because it's more about what it produces in my heart. Right. And so But if I can start with my relationship with God, honor, weight, am I giving more weight to what I think, what I feel, or what God says? Cool. Which driving my decisions. Now I can take that and now apply it to everybody else. Perception principle. How do I see myself? How do you see God? So you see God as this angry dictator who's waiting for you to screw up to punish you. The perception of God isn't a loving Father. How do you see other people? So, yeah, is that helpful today?
Yeah.
Great. Thank you. Anything else? Any other, like, we can go like 1 minute longer if anybody's got like anything like you got to ask.
I got a question. So when you honor someone, you're putting weight on them. What happens, or how do you handle a situation when you put weight on someone that they can't handle? Like when you try to honor them and they don't see themselves in the way that you're honoring them, and it's a little bit overbearing for them. How do you teach them to be able to take that weight on?
You don't give people what they can't receive.
Okay.
And so it's got to be in a flow that makes sense. In the first day, because sometimes honor gets these weird things thrown out there, like what honor really looks like. You got to stand in attention when the pastor. It's just weird. It's not weird. And so, but honor is giving weight. It's if I'm a meeting, I don't know. In boxing, if a former, so at a title fight in boxing, there's ever like a former champion who's at that boxing match, what do they do with that former boxing champion? What they'll do is before they start the fight, they will say, "Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome to the ring right now, Muhammad Ali." Why? Because we're honoring him, we're acknowledging his presence. Honor means to acknowledge presence. It means to give weight to. How does that transfer into relationships with other people? So to honor somebody, Brittany, is like to make eye contact and give a genuine, like, how are you? And actually listening and anticipating what you're responding. That's honor. So giving weight to your presence. Honor one another. But if I'm like, hey, Britt, how you doing? What did I just do to her? I said, you're so common and ordinary, you're not even worth acknowledging. And that's what we get to do. Why? But that's where, again, I've got to understand. Now, if I were to be like, if Brittany walks in and I'm like, standing at attention, I feel weird. I'm not going to give her that. So, but if Pastor walks in, I'd be like, come on, guys. Pastor Steve. Okay. If Morgan walks in, I might not do that. Not that there's different values level of people, but it's acknowledging presence. Does that help?
Yeah, can I take it a step further? Do you honor potential in people, or do you wait to honor them until that potential becomes possession?
I don't know. I think it's both and. I don't think there's right or wrong with it. I think sometimes I'm going to give you something because I think you can do it. And sometimes I'll give you something because I've seen you do it.
Okay.
Because there's a difference between hope and faith. Faith is I've seen a pattern of it, therefore I can have a likelihood of predicting it for the future. I have faith. Hope is, I don't know, I've never seen it. Hope it happens. Hope it works out. And so, both are involved, I think, in it. But again, I'm not going to say, Brittany, you're going to do the 7 at 7 tomorrow morning. No. I'm not going to give her that. because that's the inappropriate way.
Yeah.
It's just, I got to be smart, so I'm leading you.
Right.
I want to give you more weight than you think you can carry, but it's not so much weight that it'll crush you.
Yeah.
And not every one of you can carry the same amount of weight in the same areas. It's my job as a leader, the authority over you, that you have got to trust me that I'm helping you get the appropriate amount. Like, I can't lift that much. Yes, you can. But also, I can't put a truck on your shoulders because you will get squashed. Now, do we have people in our organization that need to carry a truck? Absolutely. Pastor needs to be able to look at me and say, "Oh, you're preaching in 5 minutes. Get up there. Got it. Go." I've been around that long. I've been getting. I needed to have that kind of shoulders to carry that road. I didn't start there. It's a process.
Okay.
So you treat everybody fairly, but not the same.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of treating everybody the same. That's horrible. You treat me the way you treat everybody else. Treat me the way I should be treated. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Specifically, I would encourage you that whatever application point God gave you, do something with it. From this, there probably needs to be some phone calls saying, would you please forgive me? I've realized that either relationships in your life that God's called you to honor them and respect them. And some of them might be the person sitting right next to you. And because you might be married to them. And most of the discord happens in relationships is because of this perspective, right? Because what happens is you hurt my feelings and therefore I'm withholding from you. And you repay it. That's respect. That is complete respect. But honor says, even though you hurt me, I will love you. Yeah. That's hard. It's not easy. Not easy at all. That's what we're journey together. But respond appropriately as the Holy Spirit is illuminating things in your life. And you know, Lord, we love you. Thank you for allowing us to encounter your presence today. Thank you for these men and women that you set apart for the work of the gospel. We ask that you would take in the deposits of today. Just open some things in our heart about past relationships, about present struggles, about future situations. But we thank you that you're the prodigal father, that you came running towards us in our guilt and our shame, and you put a ring on our finger and a robe on us. Thank you. We didn't deserve it. We did not deserve it. But you did it so that we could point people to you. And I ask that you would empower these people to step into the fullness of the ministry you've put inside of them. Some of them are holding back. Some of them are unsure. Some of them, they look in the mirror and they just see such a distorted image. It's a fun house. But there's not a whole lot of fun in that house. You're looking at it every day. So rewrite the images, God. Rewrite the words we put over the pictures of ourselves. And that we would have an accurate picture of who you say we are and how you see us. There's some women in the room that feel very ugly. But you call them beautiful. There are some men in the room that are waiting for someone to tell them they're proud of them. And I pray that they would hear a Heavenly Father's voice saying we're proud of them. And Father, thank you. Thank you that you are that kind of God. You didn't just sit up in eternity, but you came down to the humanity and took on flesh. And made your dwelling among us. But even when you ascended, you didn't leave us as orphans. You saved the Holy Spirit. Yes. If there's witness with us right now, thank you for conviction. Yes, Lord. A healthy conviction is a gift. We know it's a gift because we open it up and we use it. People respond to it brings glory and honor to the Holy Spirit. We praise your mighty name. Amen. Amen.
Autumn, are you in here now? How do you know what this set up?
I don't know what to do.
Hey, leave the chairs where they're at.
I know it's crazy.
What is our habit? Yep.
I'm sorry. Well,